What's up, you guys? Teddy Sharker here, and I'm gonna give it to you guys straight, like a 4 through 8. UFC 300 might be the greatest UFC card of all time, and a lot of people have been trashing it, and I really don't get it. Dana White announced Zhang Weili versus Zhang Zhannan, and people were crying about that fight. Like, that's not gonna be an incredible fight. It's gonna be awesome. Zhang Weili, she literally, almost has no boring fights. Maybe her last fight was a bit slow, but she always comes to fight. She brings an exciting fight every time. Zhang Zhannan, same thing. She has exciting fights for the most part, and it's gonna be for the title, so the stakes are gonna be higher. But it's gonna be incredible. Then they announced Holly Holm and Kayla Harrison, and that's not gonna be a bad fight. Kayla Harrison, she's kind of known outside the UFC, so it's gonna be exciting to see her make her UFC debut. But people were expecting Dana White to announce that Brock Lesnar was gonna come back to fight John Jones or something crazy like that, or maybe they're expecting that Conor McGregor was gonna come back. But to be honest, I prefer, Conor McGregor, he's gonna have a huge fight, but you don't need to put everything on this card. You can push Conor McGregor back a bit, but this card is gonna be huge, and there's a potential now of Israel Adesanya versus Drake du Plessis as the main event, and that's gonna be so incredible if it actually does happen. But the rest of the card so far, Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan, that could be the co-main event of any pay-per-view, and it's gonna be not even the feature fight on this card. We have Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the BMF title. One has Justin Gaethje had a boring fight, one has Max Holloway had a boring fight. These two are going to go to war. It's going to be amazing. You also have Aljamain Sterling taking on Calvin Kattar for his first time at featherweight, and that's going to be on the prelims. Davison Figueiredo is going to take on Cody Garbrandt. That's also going to be on the prelims, and it was supposed to be the pay-per-view for, I think it was UFC 255 back in 2020, but Cody Garbrandt got COVID, so I think they gave it to Alex Perez. Yeah, they gave it to Alex Perez, and imagine these fights being they could be pay-per-view headliners, but they're on prelims. This is how good this is gonna be. It's honestly incredible. I haven't seen a card this good before. The prelims, I usually kind of skip the early prelims. I can't lie, but this time I'm gonna make sure I watch everything, every single fight through, because I guarantee you guys it's gonna be an amazing, incredible card. And also, Yuri Prochazka, this guy literally has no boring fights. Not just in the UFC, but in his entire career. Win, lose, or whatever. He's always going to come to fight. He's taking on Alexander Rakic, who, he's had a couple, slow fights, I'll say. But I think he's going to bring it. It's his comeback fight. If he wins, he could potentially get a title shot. So you're going to have to put a big performance out there. But yeah, Yuri Prochazka, one of the most exciting fighters, is probably going to be... Okay, he's not going to be on the early prelims. He's going to be on the prelims, though, for sure. Then you got Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. That's just an OG fight. Both guys are going to come out and put on a show. They're going to stand and bang. It's going to be great. Two legends getting a spot on this card. It's nice to see, too. But yeah, I just feel the people who hate on it, it's they got it from one person saying it was bad, and then they blindly started saying that it was also bad, but they didn't really think about it. Because if you really think about it and look at these fights, you're gonna be you know what, there might not be McGregor on there, but it's still gonna be a huge card. There's still a lot of star power on there. There is title fights, there is number one contender fights, there's all types of fights on there. There's legend fights. It's gonna be incredible. One more could you ask for? But yeah, I do think that the UFC is gonna announce Drake du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Adesanya did come out and say he won't start training until the end of February, but that was a lie, because I saw him train with Kai France and Dan Hooker and all these guys, and made a post they're all back together. So Israel Adesanya is entering training. I don't know how banged up Drake du Plessis is, but he did call out Israel, and he did say that UFC 300 would sound great to him. So why not get him back on there? You could even potentially have Khamzat Chimaev back on that card. Maybe you can put him up against Sean Strickland. Like, who knows? There is endless possibilities. Like, this card could still get better. It can only get better from here on out. Now we just gotta hope that no fights get canceled, because that'd be a shame. But yeah, like, all these fights, I look forward to it. I hope that most of these fights, well, yeah, the BMF title is gonna be 5 rounds. Weili and Yongshan, now it's gonna be 5 rounds. I do want to see Oliveira and Saryukin be 5 rounds, just in case if the fight is too short. But the way these guys fight, I feel like they're not gonna need to hear the distance. But yeah, this UFC 300 might be the greatest card of all time in UFC history.